Hello YouTube. I've made a deal with myself to try to get at least one video out a week, to the point of actually setting a time of the week where if I don't have a video done, I'm going to sit down and get it. So this is my second attempt making a video. I made a very major mistake telling the video, and I'm going to learn by making myself retell this video and get it done. Looking for a subject tonight, I thought back to one memory I had of the oddest compliment I've ever been paid. But it was a very sincere compliment and nothing like what they like to call a left-handed comment. And it was back when I was 20 or so. Well, I was in college at the time, and I was working at the Home Depot. At the same time I was going to college. There were other people there, and most of the people my age didn't take it seriously. I tried to take my job seriously and, just do the best I can, think up, better ways I could do my job to make it easier for me, just actually put some thought into it. And the best thing about working at the Home Depot is that there were a number of colorful characters who I got to meet and have some very interesting stories with, this story is going to focus around one gentleman. He was much older than me. He was in his 60s. His name was Steve, and a very interesting character. Actually, Seminole, Native American from Florida, had served in the Marine Corps during the Vietnam War and was always happy to give you stories or great tips, such as, he recommended to me that, if I think I'm ever in danger of being shot, carry a plastic bag with me, because that will, if I happen to get shot in the chest, then I can put the plastic bag immediately against my chest to keep my lung from collapsing. Not something you typically think about, but, it's like, it seems it would work. I may be corrected on that and told that he was correct. But the interesting thing is he had, a lot of interesting stories, work in construction, some practical tips there, being in prison, where he also happened to play Dungeons and Dragons, which, as I'm a nerd, I love playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it was just very odd to find out that, this is a shared interest, and he knew exactly what he was talking about, to the point of, at one point he put me to a test of, running through his favorite scenario, the ice castle, and it was just I was paying attention, and he had played, which he claimed he played when he was in prison, so that was interesting. But this was one day in the summer, in the lunchroom. There were some of the young people I was talking about who didn't care were in there, and they were just generally trying to talk themselves up. I didn't have as much use for that in that point in my life, because it doesn't really get you too much anywhere to talk about how much, of a badass you are living in rich white suburbia. Yeah. No. So they were talking about going and doing something blatantly illegal, like stealing, and I just was getting tired of them talking, so I did put the question back to them of, just asking, seeing if they could give me an honest answer of, is this worth going to jail for? It was, of course, a mistake, as I got no honest answer. I got responses like, I'm not scared to go to prison. I would end up running the place. Another guy said he would, have not a problem. He wouldn't have a problem. He would immediately go find the biggest guy in prison and beat him up. Just prove he's tough. Well, Steve was also in the room for this, and he could be very serious and intense. So he got very serious, intense, and started disabusing them of their notions. He went ahead and just gave them each a respective price in prison and contraband of, what they're worth, pointing out, that there's a power structure there that the one guy would have to work through, who really don't want to give up their power. And art tend to deal with issues quickly and with a sort of finality. I can't speak the same language that he did, and not because I want an age restriction. It's just not in my character. It's just, a very simple, frank thing where, you believe that when he says he was in prison, yeah, he probably was in prison from the way he talks. It's something that just goes beyond the way they talk on TV. It's silly to say that. And the final guy got told, you think you're going to go in and beat up the biggest guy? The biggest guy is going to have friends, and there is, implicit mutual defense agreement with, the friendship. That, if you let your friend get beat up and someone gets away with that, it shows you to be weak. You just told them that, they would just straight up kill you. If you even manage to beat up the biggest guy. So, once he had their attention, he then stopped and actually paid me the compliment, which was the oddest compliment of life. I pointed at them, saying that, all of you, if there is actually one person who could survive in prison, it's him, pointing at myself. And that really surprised me. He knew I had led a very law-abiding and fairly sheltered life, and I just asked him for clarification. Why do you say that I would be the only one to survive prison? And he had a very simple set of explanations that made perfect sense. First off, I'm a big guy. That's going to help me. And, that first explanation, totally buying that. Second, he said, I'm competent. And I, reflected back to actually trying to do a good job, like trying to get some of my co-workers to work with me so we can get our work done faster, rather than just doing it through simple brute force, trying to come up with some smart ways. And I could see that. I think he's also meaning I know not to stick my nose in where I'm not welcome, but I think that's the sets you can pick up in life. And the final thing was the one thing that I probably hadn't considered. He said that I was respectful all the time. That I was always willing to treat anyone with respect, as an equal. And that added up to me that that would probably be an important factor for just maintaining a lack of enemies. So his explanation just added up in my mind. I can't do as good a job re-explaining it, but I laughed it off at the time, saying that Steve, forgive me if I don't run out and test this idea. He was like, of course I understand. But it was one thing that stuck through me through the rest of my life, to just try to maintain a practical view on life because of this compliment I had been paid. So that's the most interesting comment I've been paid, that I would survive prison while others wouldn't. I intend to never put this to the test, but the compliment does still, resonate with me in memory. But thanks everyone for watching. I hope everyone has an excellent weekend or weekday or whenever you watch this.